Hello there, I'm April and this is my very first video for 2021. Before we start, I want to show you a very quick flip through of my Artisan Paperie Blangko planner. And I'm a bit emotional while I'm doing this because this would be the very last Blangko planner I'd be using, and I'll show you later why. Now I have few more Blangko planners available. If you are interested, I'm gonna link the web shop below. So as much as I want to use my very own Artisan Paperie Blangko, I decided to do something different for this year, and that is bullet journaling. Here's a funny thing about me and bullet journaling, because I knew about bullet journaling a few years ago, and when I kind of knew how you do it, like you really have to write everything from scratch, even the weekly pages, the monthly pages, that's just fine. But the entire thing, I really thought to myself that that system is really not for me because it's very tedious, and I know myself that I can only do that for the first few months. But look at me right now trying to do something different and trying to go out of my system. So another reason why I wanted to try bullet journaling is because I think I need a reboot or a restart from my Blangko planner, because one of the reason why I don't have a new design this year is because I couldn't really think of a different way or another way to design the Blangko planners. And so by doing this system, which is the bullet journaling, I'm hoping that I can think of something else, which apparently I did, because I kind of laid out what are the things that I want to put in my planners now that I don't have from my previous Blangko planners before. Anyway, let me share first the materials or the things that I'll be using for 2021's bullet journal. For the journal, I'm using this brand called Dot Ding. It is a dot grid journal with ivory or cream pages with dot grids. The size is 1 or 2 centimeters smaller than my Blangko, so it's pretty small and pretty handy, if I may say. As for my writing materials, I'm just using my trusty pens, and you'll see me using Papermate Inkjoy G-Tech, both in 0.5 ballpoint tip. I also have my Pentel brush pen, all in black. And then I have my mechanical pencil, ruler, and my ever trusty correction tape. This is probably my most important tool because I just get really OC whenever I see mistakes, and this is really helpful. Alright, so you've seen me writing on few of the pages already, but those are just the title page, which I just wrote my name, and then the next one, I just wrote the year, which is 2021, and then I left extra space that's meant to be for my word, or in my case, words for this year. I also wanted to add a page where I can see my intentions and desires. Now, at first, I wrote it as dreams and goals, but then later on, as I was talking to my artsy friends, shout out to Aries and Reg. So these two girls are my go-to girls whenever I needed inspiration when it comes to art. So while we were talking and we were discussing about our plans for this year and what we wanted to happen for ourselves and for our careers, the words intentions and desires came out. And so I realized these words are better for me rather than writing dreams and goals, because I think I've been using this dreams and goals for the past few years in my planners and journals. But I think if I shift it to a different word, which are intentions and desires, it gives a different meaning, well, at least to me personally. And as of the moment, or right now, I think it also boils down to my word of the year, which you'll see later as I decorate my bullet journal. So right now, I'm doing the monthly page. And this one is a bit challenging for me because I had to add few things on this page, which I thought at first to put it on a different page. However, I realized there's no need for it to add more pages on my journal because, like for example, for my tracker, I don't need a whole page for that because I just need few things to track, and then I just want to put on few things like what are my goals for the month, just an overview. And then I also added focused on, which it's more of like what would be the entire focus of my month. So after the monthly page, here you'll see I added a daily gratitude. Now this page is something that I really like from my previous Blangko. So the Wildflower Blangko Planner has this add-on on every month. So I added a daily gratitude because this part I truly felt that it was helpful and it gave me a different perspective for probably for the entire year, because I didn't realize like writing down short gratitude or daily highlights of my day kind of made me placed or put me in a better position. I don't know if I'm explaining this very well. So I added that one because I really think not only it is helpful for me mentally, but it's also a better way of looking at things differently. Now on that page, I also added check-in. So there's a physical, mental, and spiritual part where I'll be assessing myself every end of the month. So that's one thing that I don't have on the wildflower design on my Blangko planner. So just by doing these things already, I kind of had an idea on how to improve the Blangko planner for next year. And so we move on to the weekly pages. Now this part, I had a bit of a dilemma whether I'm gonna use a horizontal and vertical style when it comes to the weekly pages. Now, most of the bullet journals I've seen online, they did their weekly pages horizontally, which to me at first, I know for a fact couldn't really work because my mind works vertically. Like, I want to see my day from top to bottom rather than from left to right. However, I realize I can also make it happen if I divide the horizontal space into two, and then I'll put all the morning errands or anything that I need to do during the day or during morning on the left side, and the right side would be for the afternoon or evening things. So at first, I was kind of convinced that, I want to try a different style this time. Maybe I can also pick up something. However, in the end, I still went back to the vertical style because I think I want to do it my old style first, and I'll just probably change it maybe next month or the other months if I want to try it differently. I think that's one beauty of bullet journaling because you can just change your system depending on how you are feeling at the moment, I think. So anyway, I thought of a different way on arranging my weekly pages. So since I stick with my old style, which is the vertical way of weekly pages, My Blangko planners before has time. So I think from 7 a.m. up until 9 p.m. So I added a time on a weekly page. However, based from my experience, I never really follow the time. So I realized scrap the time, and I'm just gonna divide my vertical line into two, which is the AM and PM. And then I added few things which I learned from few of the videos that I've watched. I'll try to link the videos on my blog. And so I've added three top priorities of the day on the very top of the weekly pages. And then below is an extra space, so I'll have extra notes if I wanted to add what happened or some notes during the day. I also added extra row just to make the pages even, four on the side and four on the other side. So the extra row is for the task and week's goal. I find this a bit helpful because the task would be the things that I really need to do for the entire week. So I need to put down some things, like let's say if I needed to do something for this week, yet I don't know what day or which day to put it on. So I just know that for this week I need to do this. And that is also another thing that I figure out that I want to incorporate on my Blangko planner. So that's pretty much the entire setup of my bullet journal and for the month of January. Now what you're seeing right now is me decorating the entire journal. Now seriously, at first I really want to try a minimalist bullet journaling, as in like I just wanna write things and be simple about it. There's no need to draw or anything. And I've seen a lot of people decorating their bullet journaling, which is very beautiful. And they've painted on it, they drew on it. And so at first I wanted to do the same thing. But then I wanted to use my stickers, not just my own design stickers, but the stickers that I have. And I thought this is actually one of the reasons why I made my own design stickers, because I like using stickers on my planner. So I've been using Blangko planner for like more than 5 years now, and all of them have stickers on it. So instead of me drawing and painting or adding other extras, which I would really like to try someday, I thought of just doing this my old style, which is like decorating it with ephemeras, stickers, and washi tapes. So here you're just gonna see me decorating the entire thing, and you're also gonna see me back flipping the page from the title page, then going back to the weekly page, as I can't actually figure out how to really do this. Now, this is also my way of checking out my layout for the Blangko planner. I wanted to know how much space should I leave for extras. So if you want to add on washi tape, stickers, and other things, instead of you covering the entire page, so just like what I'm doing, I like putting all the decorations on the edges of the journal, because I want to leave the center or the writing area as clear as possible. And so since I want to use all my stickers and washi tapes, I want to have a space for that on the edges. Also, this is my way of checking how small or big my sticker should be if it's meant for planners. So I actually stopped producing or printing my stickers as of the end of last year, because I wanted to also reboot my sticker designs. I realized, or I noticed that, let's say for my watercolor flowers, you cannot use them on your weekly pages because they're a bit big. So either use them on your monthly page or your title page or other pages, but they are not suitable for the weekly pages. So I've thought of designing stickers that you can actually place on the weekly pages. I'm saying a lot of pages already. So here, you're actually gonna see me covering my initial idea for the monthly page. Now, at first, I wanted to just create a minimalist and just write the month and then a little quote or mantra for this month. However, I didn't like how I wrote it, and instead of me using my trusty correction tape, I've thought of just adding an extra piece of paper and decorate it. And so I have a reason to use my stickers and washi tapes again. But I kinda really like how this turned out. And so my month's mantra is live the life you have imagined. Now this page is something new to me. I don't have this on my Blangko planners. But then I realized it's kind of nice to put a quote, a Bible verse, a lyric maybe, or anything that speaks to you. Just a reminder whenever you needed an extra push on your day or for the entire month. Now, the left page is meant to be a mood board. However, when I was thinking what mood board or like what kind of pegs do I need for this month? And then I realized that part doesn't really work for me, or that system is really not how I work. So I don't really need mood boards. And then I thought of just putting an extra space for a photo. I still don't have an idea what to put on the left side or what photo, but kind of learned from other bullet journalers that some of them put a highlight photo of the month. So probably I'd be able to put some photo here at the end of the month, or I'm just thinking of adding a family photo here. Now I'm thinking of printing it on a sticker paper instead rather than using an Instax film, because Instax film is quite thick. Rather than if I'll use a sticker, then it will not make my journal chunky eventually, since there's gonna be 12 months. Alright, so now let's decorate the monthly page. So, as I said a while ago, here are the things that I added for the monthly page. You'll see on the right side, I've added on 3 things. So, one is focus on, then goals of the month, and achievements. So, the focused on is more about a general overlook. So let's say for this month, I want to focus on learning. So I want to go back and study the online courses that I bought last year that I never watched or read. And I also want to focus on reflections and probably knowing my intentions for this year at least. Now, another thing that I added for this page is the tracker. Now, I never really used tracker on my previous planners because I feel there's no need for me to track anything. Maybe because the trackers that I've seen online are about mood trackers, drinking water, and other things. And I just felt that I don't really need to track those things. Then I realized I'm actually using or been tracking some few things on my previous planners, but then it just doesn't look like this. And I also realized that putting it on a monthly page or to look at it as a whole is way better than my system before. And so when I realized that, I've thought of the things that I've been tracking. So one is my monthly period, and then workout, and then this time I wanted to add journal because that's one thing that I want to keep on doing for the entire year. And then I also want to track my painting and drawing, because I want to know if for the entire month how many times I did it, so I can see whether I've been honing my skills or not. And then lastly, I added meditation. So when I realized these things, or the things that I've been tracking, I kind of figure out that okay, tracker is actually a good system. So I just needed to know what kind of things that I need to track. So right now, I'm already decorating the weekly pages. There's nothing really much here, except that I explained a while ago that how I arranged this system this time. So you will see from the very top, you can see the number 1, 2, 3. So these are my top 3 priorities for the day. While I was doing this, I realized that I even though I have a top 3 on the upper side of the page, there's still more room for my errands or anything to do list for the morning and afternoon part, and another extra space for whatever notes that I want to put in during the entire day. At first, I had a dilemma on how to divide my entire row, but then I realized I can only do so much during the day and during the afternoon, so I really don't need a lot of space for the entire day, because even though I have just enough space for writing all the to-do list, I can move my priorities now on the upper side, which is the top priorities. And then for the tasks that I needed to do for the entire week, then I'll just put them on the task. And then if I'll figure out during the day which day of that week I should be doing that task, and I'll just move them on that day. And so that was actually a good insight while I was doing this, because I realized I don't need so many space, because I know for a fact I can't do everything on that day. And the only thing that I can do is just spread them out for the entire week. If you're new to bullet journaling, and if you want to go back to the real bullet journaling system, so writer Carol actually made a key. So these are just icons on how you can distinguish your task. So originally, I think they're using circle or a dot for a task or list, or there's also a line, and then there's an arrow if you're moving it to another day, and then X if it's canceled or moved, and so on and so forth. But in my case, I want to do it differently, because I didn't realize I'm also using a key in my previous planners, except that it's kind of chaotic. It's just more of an icon. So if, let's say, I want to create, or I have an errand for the day, so I use this broomstick drawing or an icon for house chores. Now if I'm gonna write a to-do list for Yellow House or for the coffee shop, I'm drawing a coffee cup icon. So it's kind of chaotic, and there's a lot of icons, and some of the things already are like I couldn't think of any icons anymore. So this time I tried to make it simpler and incorporated a bit from the original bullet journaling system. In my case, I'm just using a square. So whenever I write a task or anything else, I write square. And the moment that I'm done with it, or once I'm done with it, I'm just gonna check it out. And then I'm gonna use the arrows, which is left or right, if I'm gonna move it from whatever day. And then if it's canceled, I'm just gonna X inside the box. And then for the events, I'm gonna write hearts. So this time, I just simplified it. So I don't need to think of different icons for different tasks, because eventually I'll run out of ideas on icons what to write. Another thing about bullet journaling that is actually handy is, since you're using a dot grid journal, this will also serve as your guide. How many dots do you need if you wanted to divide your page? So if you're using the entire 2 pages, how many dots do you need? If you needed 4 columns, just like for my weekly pages. So if you need 3 columns, just like this one. So one thing I've learned from the videos that I've also watched is you kind of need to have a grid guide. I did mine also together with a key at the back of this journal, just so I don't need to count every time if how many dots I'll be needing if I want to divide the pages. So prior to this page, I actually did a year at a glance page. Now at first, the first few pages that I wrote with important dates, I kind of thought that would be enough for a year at a glance. However, I find it too small for the spaces. So instead, I just wrote important dates so I won't forget and moved the year at a glance at the back of my journal because I already drafted the entire first few pages and already had the January set up already. So here I am just writing my word for the year, which is being intentional. This year I want to focus more on being intentional in all aspects. From creating a design, from buying things, from everything else. On that same page, I also write my intentions and desires, which I categorize into personal, family, and both for my 2 businesses, which is Artisan Paperie and Yellow House. So I just wrote down all the things that I wanted to happen for this year. And then I know 2021 is a bit vague. However, I just want to put down all my desires and intentions for this year. And there it is. This is my very first bullet journal. And I'm really happy how this turned out. And I'm quite excited how to use it. I've been using it already for the past few days. And I'm kind of really seeing how this system is working better for me. And now I'm really hoping this system will actually help me to organize my thoughts and the things that I needed to do. Thank you so much for watching this, and I hope you'll also find a system that will help you be more productive this year. Bye! See you again on my next video.